Welcome to The Hair Loss Show. Dr. Russell Knudsen and Dr. Vikram Jayaprakash discuss issues relating to hair loss and the medical and surgical treatment of hair loss in both men and women.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to The Hair Loss Show. My name is Dr. Vikram Jayaprakash, and today I want to address the question, and this is one that we get quite commonly, which is, well, I'm losing hair, and I know why I'm losing hair, but I've done my research and I'm not keen on finasteride, or I've tried finasteride, didn't like the way it made me feel, therefore I don't want to be on finasteride. And so, the question is, do I absolutely have to take finasteride? And the answer is, of course not. No, you don't. The key is to understand what finasteride does, what its limitations are, and then what are the potential alternatives for it. So first of all, just a quick recap. We've covered this a multitude of times, but I think it's worthwhile just taking a quick few seconds to go through it again. Hair loss in men, androgenetic alopecia is a genetic condition. You inherit one set of genes from your mother's side of the family, one set of genes from your father's side of the family. There is a hormonal component as well, and we've gone through this multiple times. You've got your hormone testosterone. Convert that testosterone into another form of that testosterone, dihydrotestosterone, or DHT, and there's an enzyme called the 5-alpha reductase enzyme that does that. If you've got high amounts of DHT in the system, it causes the hairs to miniaturize and fall out in a predictable pattern, hence male pattern hair loss. And so if we look at therapy, certainly blocker therapy, like finasteride or dutasteride, that is blocking the 5-alpha reductase enzyme. If you block that enzyme, you block the conversion of testosterone into dihydrotestosterone, and you lower the level of DHT in the system. And ideally, what you're trying to do is stop the progression of that miniaturization. But there are well-documented side effects of finasteride, and if you go on the internet and do your research, you'd find that's well documented there. So the best that we've got, we don't have the cure for hair loss. All right, I don't care what anyone tells you. There is nothing that we can give you that is going to make you regrow hair, and there's nothing that's definitively going to stop you from losing hair. Even finasteride, it's effective, but its efficacy drops with each passing year. We've got stats to show this. So it's the lesser of all evils. That's what it comes down to. So you've got to take it on its merit. What I mean by that is that if you don't like the notion of being on finasteride, or you've tried it and you're not happy with it, then maybe it's not for you. All right. It doesn't mean that you're destined to lose hair. That's fine. Have a chat with your prescribing doctor, and then have a chat of what the alternatives are. If you're not keen on blocker therapy, then look at something that's maybe more stimulating therapy. That would be things like minoxidil, low-level laser, PRP, platelet-rich plasma, or derma rolling. They all act to stimulate existing hair growth. Now, let's be clear. They're not as effective. They're never going to be as effective as blocker therapy, because what blockers do, they address the underlying cause of why you're losing hair in the first place. Stimulator therapy, let's just, for example, pick minoxidil as an example, doesn't address this scenario, okay? Doesn't address this mechanism. So it's just going to stimulate the hair. The hair is still going to be undergoing that process of miniaturization over time, but by stimulating, hopefully you sort of try and mitigate that. So you have to have that understanding that, okay, if I don't want to take finasteride and I don't want to be on finasteride, there are other alternatives that are there, such as, the stimulating therapies there. Maybe they're not as effective, but maybe in some cases they are. It depends on person to person, how young you are, how aggressive your hair loss actually is, what your genetic predetermination of how much hair you're going to lose. These are all factors that we can't predict or even analyze in that moment. It's just we have an idea of where you're headed. So yes, you don't have to be on finasteride. I mean, it's going to give you the best chance of holding on to your hair for as long as possible, but it's not, even with the best will in the world, it's not the be all and end all. So I think the underlying message there is take it on its merit. Potentially try and see how you get on with it. Okay, if you are losing hair, it's going to give you the best chance of trying to halt that progression of hair loss. But if it's not for you, it's not for you. There are other alternatives that you can look at. And again, it's important to not try these things on your own, or just go, right, I want to manage this by myself. It's important to sit down with someone to try and plan out what the best course of action is for you and your specific case. So I hope that answers that question. One of these questions, there's no clear-cut answer, but you don't have to be on it, no, and you're not always destined to lose hair if you're not on finasteride. There are other alternatives to consider. All right, hope you find that useful. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.